And Tracy, you said you wanted to record? Great. So hi, everyone. My name is Lori Tyler. I work in the Math Science Education Center. My primary role in life is I run a program called Summer Ventures in Science and Math, which is a high school academic STEM program coordinated through the North Carolina School of Science and Math. And in addition to that, and other work, I help co-coordinate, I guess is a good way of saying it, the Region 7 North Carolina Science and Engineering Fair and the North Carolina Student Academy of Science competitions. And I also, for many years, coordinated the NCCTM math contest at Appalachian. So I got a lot of years of math contests and other contests under my belt. So I'm so excited to have everyone here. Thanks for joining us.
I'm Woody Madison. I'm a lecturer at App State, and I think my official title is STEM Ambassador Liaison at the Math Science Education Center. So not sure what that means, but that means I'm here a lot. So I'm glad to be here tonight and hopefully share some resources that everybody can use and some stuff they can do.
Yeah, Betty, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Oh, well, I'm Betty Long. I'm the Assistant Director of the Math and Science Education Center, and I just wanted to sit in tonight. I used to do direct math fairs, and I thought that the new director would be here, so I was going to sit in and listen and see what she had to say. I guess not. But anyway, it's good to see you all. I'd love to see your faces, but I'm sure you have a reason for not wanting to put your camera on. I just love seeing faces when I do these Zooms. But we're glad you're here. We're glad you're here, regardless.
Exactly. They may have been rained on like I was a little bit ago. So whatever this is. But
go
ahead.
The hairdo.
Yes.
I figured it was probably snowing over there.
Well, it did in the last couple of days. It sure did. But I'm Tracy McLemore Salinas. I'm the director of the Math and Science Education Center here at Appalachian State. And we have been talking about how there's so many opportunities that students can get involved in math, science, engineering, and so many different ways. And during COVID and some of the disruptions that we've had, some of you may or may not have been able to participate or learn about those opportunities in the last couple of years. So we're excited to share some of those things with you and to give you some hints about how to be successful in engaging those in your classroom. Chris, would you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. So Chris Thomas with North Carolina School of Science and Math. So I've been in our outreach programs for 15 years, but a lot of that was supporting our online program. So now I'm in more directed outreach, or what we call extended learning, which is a lot of other programs we now offer and have expanded, I'd say, in the last few years. So I'll be sharing some of those. I also help run Summer Ventures, but since Lori is here, I'll let Lori talk about Summer Ventures because she knows it inside and out, and I'll talk about some of the other NCSSM programming that happen school year and summer that can help students get engaged in STEM.
Well, I will go ahead and share my screen, and hopefully everybody can see it. You know, we're betting on Wilkesboro internet right now, so can we all see it?
Mm-hmm.
Looks good, Woody. Thank you.
Perfect. And boom. All right, we can get started.
So we thought we would start with some of the NCSSM programs. So Chris, if you'd like to go first.
Yeah, so with adding Morganton, we do summer 1-week courses, and they happen online or at one of our campuses, so both Durham or Morganton, and you can pick the courses that you want based on the campus or delivery. So wide range of ages that we serve. With the early accelerator, it's just a day camp. But starting at 7th grade, it can be in person. One unique thing we do is the students actually start their work asynchronously or online for a couple weeks before they start accelerator. So that way when students show up, to start their camp, it's like they're ready to go. Like they already have met their teacher and they've started some background work on the topic. So it's a great way that students get a lot more out of the camp in our accelerator program compared to other options that are out there. So that's something we borrowed from our online program that has been a unique attribute of our program. And we have a whole team that supports this program, so they can help answer any questions about it. They're still working, I think, on the catalog for summer 2023. But it's a whole variety of STEM, and I think even things outside of STEM opportunities for students. Some of our instructors have been teaching in the program for a while, and it usually runs for about 6 weeks in June and July, again at Morganton and Durham. So there is a tuition charge for these programs, but also they have a process to do, I don't know if financial aid is the correct term, but there is a way that that you can get need-based assistance through these programs. So that's something to know. Is unlike other programs I'll talk about, this one does use tuition, but it's not meant to be a barrier to participation. So it's a great way to live at one of our campuses, be at a place that is meant only for K-12, like we don't really do adult programming like other institutions might do. And great way to learn about NCSM and to have kind of a nice experience learning about STEM. So that's Accelerator. I'll mention some other programs, but that's sort of the largest program where we bring in hundreds and hundreds of students through that program at both our campuses. So other programs we'll talk about will be a little smaller in size. And I actually taught in it. So I taught a geology course at Morganton for our first year opening. So I actually taught a 7th through 9th grade course at the Morganton campus. So it was great to be able to use a lot of the resources in the mountains, whether state parks or App State, or just a lot of rocks and geology you can see there that you can't see as easily in Durham. So I think that's it. Was there a question? Or I think the next few slides might be NCSM programming too.
Yeah.
There is a
So-
question, Chris, actually, before we go. Just one of the folks wants to know about when it says rising 7th through 9th grade.
I never heard of that term until I came to NCSM because I came from a university. So rising would mean they would be going into 7th through 9th grade. So a 6th grader, a current 6th grader could apply through a current 11th grader would be applying for next year's programs. With day camp being a current 4th or current 4th or 5th grader.
Perfect. And the word accelerator and rising, that just clarifying for folks, those don't necessarily mean that these students have to be in any kind of accelerated paced class or on an honors track or anything like that necessarily. Is that correct?
No, there is an application, but we want to just make sure the student's excited to be there and that there isn't a parent excited to have their kid live somewhere else for a week. So I believe there's an application, especially for the high school programs, where they just want to know why the student's interested in the program or particular course. So that curiosity about the course and interest of the student is what matters. They're not meant to be like a gifted track
Perfect.
program.
Thanks.
But wait, there's more. So this is our other very large program, and our Connect courses are courses where students actually do a class with us for the most part live during the day with us, and they do it through their local school. So it's similar that some students might do an NCVPS or virtual public school course, or some students do a online course through their early college. The difference is almost all of our courses are live delivery. So they work with the teacher by Zoom live during the week. So it's taught on a block schedule. So there's some scheduling to do, but it's all set up that the courses appear on the local school transcript. So the nice thing is it's a seamless way to take STEM courses that you may not be able to get through local school, or for some students, they might be more feel like they'll do better in a course with a live teacher than a course where they're doing a lot of the work on their own. So good program for students that do better with live instruction. And I teach in this program, so I teach AP Seminar in this program. And I teach it from one of our what we call a TV or a broadcast studio. So we moved to the Zoom delivery model a couple years ago, which means you don't need a video conferencing unit like was required in the past. I think in that picture that was still when we were doing video conference delivery. So we switched to Zoom. So most schools I think have switched to with students being one-to-one with their laptops. Students are joining in from their laptop. So full STEM catalog of courses, mostly 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. We do have the STEM Scholars Program that I think reaches down into 9th grade. So there are some exceptions to that. Bulk of the courses are 10th through 12th grade. Honors level, no charge to take them. If there's any supplies, we send them out. I think the school provides the books if that's required, and fall and spring semester courses. So we have about 400 to 500 students in this program. So our other very large program. So great way during the school year to engage in some STEM courses through us. And any questions on the Connect courses? So if you've heard of virtual public schools and whatever your early college, community college might be doing as online courses to high school students, that's sort of a similar space this program operates in. And I believe the next few slides are more specialized programs that we run, and the next few slides are going to be summer programs. So I'm a little less familiar with these programs. Step Up to STEM has been around for a long time in various forms. It's a program where rising 9th and 10th underrepresented students get to do a 1 to 2 week STEM opportunity. So they get to come as a rising 9th grader and come back as a rising 10th grader. So it's set up to be a program where they can continue on and come back for a spot in the second summer of programming. This is run at NCSSM Durham and then Elizabeth City State University, which is near Dare County. So closer to Nags Head, but you're at sea level, but still an hour from the ocean. So Elizabeth City State, Norfolk, Virginia would be to the north of it. So we run it at 2 campuses, and they get to have STEM experiences, and it's a chance to live away from home and to get a lot of other just kind of career and confidence building opportunities to go with the STEM programming, awareness of other things students can do to engage in STEM. And this program is free. So we've been running at the Durham campus for maybe close to 15 years now. It's almost as long as I've been there. And through some donor funding, we've been able to add a second cohort at Elizabeth City State. And again, free program. And I think the next one is also going to be one of our free summer programs. So Inspire program is based on our summer leadership program we've been also running at our Durham campus for quite some time. And with the addition of Morganton, we now run this at the Morganton campus. So another free program. Like Step Up to STEM, it is targeting underrepresented students that have an interest in science. So Step Up to STEM, rising 9th, rising 10th. NCSM Inspire is rising 11th graders. And this is a little different. The goal is that they just do a 1 week research opportunity. So it's a lot more focused on doing kind of like a mini internship with a STEM mentor. So it's to build deeper understanding of a STEM topic, get to do some problem solving skills, getting to just focus on a problem in a way that you probably can't do during a normal school day. So we use outside mentors for the students to work with, and there's enrichment activities in the evening like Step Up to STEM to build what we might call soft skills or kind of workplace skills. So that takes place at Morganton, 1 week program. And I think we have one more summer ventures. So I'll let Lori, who's been involved in this program a lot longer than me, talk about it.
Thanks, Chris, and thanks for sharing the information about programs both summer and academic year with the school science and math. One question I had was, is the Connect program the former IVC, the interactive video conferencing, or does that still exist?
Yeah, we rebranded it because I think post-pandemic, the video conferencing wasn't the best descriptor of what the program did. So the program's been around since 1995. So we've been teaching online for a lot longer than our students have been alive. So it's one of our long-standing outreach programs at NCSSM.
Right.
So we've been teaching online delivery for decades. So a lot of our teachers are pretty experienced in that format, not pandemic experience.
Those classes are amazing. So sharing that with your students and sharing it with your guidance counselors and other co-teachers, because I mean, they even do, lab-based science, and they've done an amazing job over the years, but it really gives students the opportunity to have, a STEM course that is, taught through the school science and math, as well as just being very intense and very rigorous and just a quality course. So glad to know that that's still around. So just to take a couple of minutes to talk about the Summer Ventures in Science and Math program. It is another program. It is coordinated through the North Carolina School of Science and Math. It is open only to North Carolina students, and you apply during your 10th or 11th grade year. So we accept rising juniors or rising seniors to participate for 4 weeks. It is hosted at 4 different campuses in our state: East Carolina University, UNC Charlotte, UNC Wilmington, as well as Appalachian State. And so students apply to the program just like if they were, similar to applying to the North Carolina School of Science and Math. It's the same beginning of the application. Students apply, fill out the basic demographics, and then once they reach the point of that initial information, then they actually select to attend Summer Ventures. We have been around since 1985, and it is cost-free to students, and it truly gives students a hands-on research experience. They're working with university faculty. It is very competitive to get into our program, just because we don't have as many open spots as we have students who apply to the program. So here it says up to 200 students live on a college campus. That's actually about 200 students spread across the 4 campuses. It's not 200 students per campus. And so the amazing thing about Summer Ventures is that, in addition to getting research experience, you're living in a residence hall, you're getting there's lots of activities in the evenings and weekends, but that networking with other students from around the state, as well as, that collegial relationships that you develop with faculty. And then we have a lot of students who continue to work with their faculty. So they'll choose to go back to their Summer Ventures campus for undergraduate study. That we've had students who have taken their research and published, have presented at conferences, that type of thing. So on there, the website says summerventures.org. That actually takes you to an NCSSM website. So, but that's the easy one to remember. And like I said, it's a free application. The applications are open now. We are doing a variety of webinars for students. One actually is a little bit later this evening, just to provide some more information about the program. So that's Summer Ventures. Anything I missed, Chris or Woody? Woody's worked for the Summer Ventures program for many years as well.
No, it's just a very well-structured program. So the students aren't just thrown in there. So there's a lot of structure to help onboard them to doing a research problem, and a great residential life staff to help program the evenings and weekends. So and just good experience to build their confidence. I know I was very shy, extremely shy in high school. So it would have scared me to death to meet people from another county or other parts of the state. So they do a good job to make everyone feel included and excited about doing STEM.
Yeah, I agree, Chris. I actually attended Summer Ventures way back in the Stone Ages, what it seems like. And it was really kind of cool to just be around other students who were like me, who really liked math and science. And there weren't many of those in my small mountain high school that I attended. So it really opened my eyes on the opportunities that were available outside of my high school careers and majors and things like that. And Woody has worked for Summer Ventures for a number of years. I won't say how many, but he has been in residence life as well as he's taught courses. So Woody, you want to add anything?
No, I don't have anything to add other than it's a great time. Students learn a lot and it's great to be a part of. So that's all I got.
And, you know, like I said, Summer Ventures has been around since 1985, but a lot of people have not heard of our program. One, because we don't spend a lot of money on advertising, just because we rather use those funds for the program.
Well,
So a lot of times I tell people that's very
campus
similar to
dining
Governor's
stop event
School.
tomorrow.
Okay.
That's like, would you be?
So, you know, well, and a lot of people in North Carolina have heard of Governor's School. So there's Summer Ventures. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, next up, we have math counts. So Erica Slate couldn't join us today because there's another meeting going on. I think I somehow managed to schedule it on the busiest day of November other than Thanksgiving. I don't know how I managed that by just randomly picking out a date on a calendar. So I'll give a little information about math counts. I've been trying to research it, and I know Tracy has some information if I miss out anything, which I'm sure I will. But basically, it's for grades 6 to 8. Students can compete in individual and team competitions. So when you do this, you conduct your own comps at the school level, and then from there you move on to the chapter levels. If you're in the Northwest region, is chapter 11. I didn't memorize what counties those were, but I just assumed the Northwest region. And so a lot of this information, there's a lot of supplies and resources that if you reach out to Erica Slate, which her email is listed here, you can get all those resources and things. The main thing we wanted to come across is that it gives lots of coaches materials. So if you're like scared of doing math counts, they will give you everything you could possibly need so that you're not out there saying, oh, I want to be a part of this with my middle school students, but I don't know what I'm doing. They will give you everything you need if you reach out to Erica Slate. Is there anything else I need for math accounts, Tracy?
Well, I'll just add that sometimes when you think about something like a math contest, you picture some of your students who are already, doing so well in the classroom and are advanced or in advanced classes. But a lot of these contests are actually meant to generate more interest in mathematics. All students can attend these. You can bring teams from all over and every level of academic performance. We have a set of math contests that are intended to help students on the earlier grades before high school get interested in mathematics. This one is for grades 6 through 8. And Eric Marland in the math department at Appalachian has created another one called Elevate. And that one's really for grades 4 through 6. And they're intended to be fun, a lot of collaboration, a lot of fun problem solving, not just sitting and taking a math test. If that's what you're picturing. So take a look at some of these. And if you have elementary students or middle grade students who just have an interest in teamwork, an interest in mathematics, enjoy problem solving, then you may want to think about sponsoring a small team and bringing them for one of the competitions.
All right, then we come into the math fair. So once again, Erica Slate couldn't be with us. And so we stole this from the Math Fair website. And so it actually has Betty Long's contact info there. So we'll get that changed. But mainly, so for the Math Fair, there's it goes from K to 12, right? You can do individual or class projects together. The only thing for class projects is there needs to be a majority of the class. You can't have 3 people and then call it a class project because that wouldn't work. And then the individual projects can also be 1 or 2 students. They don't have to just be 1 student if you have a pair of students. And so when you're thinking about Math Fair, it's not one of the things that I always thought is that it had to be some crazy problem that had to be math specific, but Math Fair can really extend to more than just what you might think. So it's really about letting students really challenge themselves with a question that they want to answer that requires some type of investigation and then things of that nature. So And the website for Math Fair is going to be linked there when we send out this presentation. Is there anything else we need to add to that?
Oh, I think you're muted, Betty.
Class projects are only, you can only do those in K2, 3, 4, and 5, 6. You can't do those for 7 through 8 or 9 through 12. The class projects. But of course, individual projects in any of those levels. And I just contacted Holly Hurst to ask her to please take my name off of the website. So sorry about that. We haven't gotten that done yet.
We'll update it before we post it, but you definitely are still the guru about all things Math Fair. And I've been a judge for Math Fair before, and we'll just say that these turn into some extraordinary projects for a lot of the students. And one of the most beneficial parts of this is actually the interview that the students do with the judges, where they have to describe their project, they answer questions about it. This process of working on the research project, putting together a presentation, and then answering questions just really does a lot to build students' confidence, give them an opportunity to communicate about math, and so much more. I'm always impressed by the professionalism of those young students sharing their projects.
And we might say there are pictures available on the NCCTM website as well as the math department's website showing projects from the past. Kind of let you see what they look like. It's just the big trifold board like the science projects, only these have a lot of math in them.
Yeah, exactly, Betty. Thank you for that. And I was going to refer when I talk about the science and engineering fair, that math fair is very much almost like a science fair. You know, students have a trifold board, they have some sort of, title and investigation of questions and things like that. So really glad that math fair is returning to in-person programming, because it did take a hiatus during our pandemic crisis. So we're really excited to have Math Fair come back. And Betty, typically it's been on a Saturday at App State for our region. Is that correct?
Yeah, Western Region's on a Saturday and the state has typically been on a Friday.
Right. So it's a lot of schools have, school competitions, and then there are the 3 NCCTM regions that host the Math Fair. And then there is a state competition as well. So thank you. So Woody, do you want me to talk about the math contest, or did you receive any notes for that?
I think you should talk about it.
Okay, so another NCCTM, which stands for the North Carolina Council of Teachers of Math, is something that's called the math contest. So very similar to that Elevate math that we have here regionally for the lower elementary or upper elementary grades, and then math counts, which is primarily, middle grades. The math contest is again another contest where students do take a test, and it has 4 divisions, level 1, 2, 3, and then comprehensive. Years ago, when we used to teach Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2 in North Carolina, those were technically the tests that we use. So basically, the students who are currently enrolled in level 1 or Math 1, they would take the level 1 test. And so there are multiple sites across North Carolina that offer these regional tests. And then students who qualify, and there's a formula for based on the number of students competing at a site who go on to a state level test. And those 3 level 1, 2, and 3, those divisions, the state test is usually held at UNC Greensboro, East Carolina, I believe, and UNC Asheville. That's what it's been recently. And then the comprehensive division, that state contest is at the North Carolina School of Science and Math. And there's some really cool things about math contest is that there's prizes involved, whether that's at the regional level or the state level. But I always like to tell people that and a lot of students who are, very involved in mathematics, and they'll actually start taking, you don't have to progress through the 3 levels to take comprehensive level. But we have a lot of students who do that. And then at the comprehensive level, if you win the state competition, there's big prize money, a lot of different scholarship opportunities, and other things. Since we haven't had a competition in the last year, I'm not sure this will continue, but a previous prize was if you won the state level competition at the comprehensive division and you were a senior, one of the prizes was a full scholarship to Duke University. So not too shabby for doing well on a math contest. And then the students who place certain levels at that comprehensive level go on to what's called the North Carolina ARMO team, which is the American Regional Math League. And they will go on and compete on a national level. And then from there, teams are also selected to go on to the World Olympiad. So these are students who are really at the comprehensive level, who are really our top-notch students in North Carolina. But we do host the math contest here at Appalachian. We only offer the level 1 and comprehensive tests at Appalachian. Amber Mellon is now currently in charge of that contest. I did it for many years. It's lots of fun. I forgot to check, and I'll be honest with you, I forgot to check, but typically the level 2 and 3 tests are at Lenoir-Rhyne for our region. So you can simply go to the state math contest website and they'll have the different regional offerings and what sites are offering what tests. And then we have the North Carolina Science and Engineering Fair. So this science fair is the easy way to say that. They added in the science and engineering a few years ago. It has lots of sponsors. They fall under the ISEF rules. So there's a lot of rules involved, a lot of forms involved. And one of the really cool things about the Science and Engineering Fair is there actually is a mathematics division. So I always tell students, if you're going to compete in a math fair, go ahead and take your math project to the Science and Engineering Fair as well. You can actually compete in both competitions. The state is divided into 8 regions. North Carolina is divided into 8 regions. So students typically have a school fair and then come to the region. So Region 7 is held here at Appalachian. This year, we're having it on January 10th. And in response to our pandemic, where we've had virtual fairs for the last couple of years, they've actually made a virtual fair region. So basically any student from the 8 regions across the state could choose to participate in one of the virtual fairs. And so you could be competing against, a student from, let's say, Boone would be competing against a student from, we'll say, Wilmington or Whiteville, or, so that's a really interesting twist to the program. I was hoping Coleman Bailey would be with us tonight. He is a former teacher at Avery High School. He currently is an assistant principal at Owen High School, and he is pretty much our science and engineering fair guru here in our region. But again, you can go to the ncsef.org website, lots of information for the different regional fairs. We have hours earlier here at Appalachian, just because we try to avoid as much snow as possible. And somehow there's very little snow like the first 2 weeks of January. So with us, fingers crossed that that's what's happening this year. But, again, we're encouraging students to participate in science. One thing I forgot to put on this slide, it is K-12. And again, like the math fair, students can do an individual project. I have seen projects that are groups of 2 or even 3. And as Tracy was saying about the math fair, the students, their projects, they do a small oral presentation about their project to the judges. And we have lots of, medals and certificates, and really just want to encourage students to explore all aspects of science and engineering, any STEM topic. Exactly. So we're really excited to have the Science and Engineering Fair come back. And then we also, here at Appalachian, because we are a smaller region, we also have the North Carolina Student Academy of Science held on the same day as our Science and Engineering Fair. So I have also coordinated the NCSAS program at Appalachian State, but Chris Thomas, again from NCSSM, he actually is the state director of this program. So I'm going to let him talk about that, if you will, Chris.
Yeah, and one link I want to share is there's actually 4 big research competitions in North Carolina, and you can just go to bit.ly, so bit.ly link, so bit.ly/NC student research, and that'll take you to a flyer that just has the 4 big research competitions, so teachers can print that out. So the Science Fair, Student Academy are the 2 larger ones, but we want to raise awareness of these other ones because often we get a lot of participants from South Charlotte high schools and Western Wake County high schools and Chapel Hill and Durham. And often it's just word of mouth. It isn't that we're raising awareness anymore at those schools. It's just more parents might have a STEM background. More students have a STEM interest, access to STEM opportunities, and they just know about these. And we're just trying to get the word out so that everyone in North Carolina can participate in these research competitions. So Student Academy of Science, what makes it a little different from Science and Engineering Fair is you don't have to fill out all the forms of Science Fair. It's still a good idea that you follow their rules for safety reasons. But because we're not giving out large prize awards, the main prize for high school students is you just get to go to a international research conference. So that's the main prize, is we subsidize a trip to go to a research conference the top scientists get to go to. The other difference from Science Fair is you actually give a presentation. So you don't have to do a poster. You actually just do a Google slide or PowerPoint presentation on your research project, and you also get to write a paper. So it's another way to share your research in a different format than Science and Engineering Fair. And we bring students to our Durham campus to the place at the regional level to come to our state conference, where we have professional researcher talk, and you get to meet lots of other student researchers around the state and get to meet professional judges. So just like Science Fair, we bring in judges that work or know the content area of your project. So that's what makes Student Academy of Science kind of fun. And it's also a middle and high school. So Science Fair goes down to what, 3rd grade, Lori?
Yes, 3rd grade.
So Academy of Science picks up at 6th grade. So it's a great way for younger students to engage. So they compete in either elementary, middle, or high school if it's Science Fair. And for Student Academy of Science, we have a middle and a high school category. And also for Student Academy of Science, if they did their project, say, with a professional, they compete in a separate category from those that did not. So that's Student Academy of Science. And another thing I can point out is like great student projects have come from Avery, Yancey, Transylvania County. Me working with NCSM students, where we've placed research students with like a researcher at Duke University. Doesn't really matter where you come from. The nice thing about research is it's your enthusiasm for the project is what matters. And that matters a lot more than students who might just be doing it for a college application if they're high school students. So great thing is I don't necessarily see an advantage of what school a North Carolina student comes from when they get to do these events or get to engage in research.
Absolutely. And one of the reasons why we for Region 7 have the Science and Engineering Fair and Student Academy of Science on the same day is because many students, well, obviously middle school and high school students, will compete in both competitions with their projects. And so, as Chris said, one of the main pieces to Student Academy of Science is the writing piece, where they get the experience of writing a research paper, very similar to, publishable peer review journal papers, and so one of the things that we have worked on is trying to support teachers in helping students with that writing process. And so that's a discussion point and a goal that I've had personally for a number of years, and have reached out to some of the teachers who've had students participate and say, how can I help with that writing process? And so the NCSAS website actually has really nice descriptors on what a research paper looks like, some examples, what the things, formatting paragraphs, or what your titles should be for sections, things like that. So that's one of the things that I am open to helping teachers and students as well, and even parents work on supporting the students in that writing process, because we all know that you can talk wonderfully about your research project, but being able to put it down in words so that someone else can read it and create questions for them to ask. So we encourage students to participate in both programs.
And that was everything we had. We were going to do breakout rooms depending on the size, the amount of people here. But if anybody has any questions now, if they want, we will send out the slideshow and the recording to everybody that registered. But does anybody have any questions about anything they saw tonight? Maybe we can try and help answer them.
And feel free to speak up. You don't have to put it in the chat.
I realized halfway through that I haven't been at my downstairs setup, and I couldn't see the chat the entire time. So I was just hoping nothing important was happening.
Tracy was monitoring it very well, so we're great for that. So really, we just wanted to share some of the opportunities for students, and some particular to our region here in the Appalachian State area, and then others that are statewide, whether they are academic year, summer programs, competitions. And there are other competitions that we didn't include in these slides tonight. We just wanted to try to start this conversation, start these opportunities. Chris has actually got me involved with something that's called the North Carolina Collaborative, and they are doing a lot of workshops for students and teachers. So we'll be able to start advertising some of those webinars and other trainings that they are doing. But please let us know how we can help.
Well, I just want to thank everybody for coming. I know it's a nasty Tuesday night, depending on where you're living, so maybe it was nice to come in, but I really appreciate everybody coming in. If anybody has anything, please reach out, and we'd love to help do anything. So thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Betty. Thank you, Chris, for being here with us.
It's good to see
Thank
everybody.
you.